Hi there, and welcome to Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbit, and the man seated next to me once had a dog named Wilbur, and his name is Mike Roth.
Actually, that is totally false. You went to the... Did you go to Wikipedia?
I went to Wikipedia.
Ah, that's where it's
not right?
wrong. No, I did some Star Wars characters before. Did you know that?
I did not.
I was in the fourth Lucasfilm back in the 80s.
Were you?
Yeah.
I hear those are good.
Yeah, that one got removed.
Gone. Sands of time. Maybe on that Blu-ray. They all come out together.
Once Disney decides to re-release everything without the...
Yeah, that's about to happen every couple of months I see on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's finally happening. Nope.
Not
happening. So this week we have a real wide range of movies for me this week. It's kind of interesting. We have some horror movies, some movies that are supposed to be horror movies.
Yeah.
And a movie with a dog in it. And I'm going to start off with that one this week on the Marquee. First film I have for you here is called Megan Leavey. Megan Leavey is based on a true story. It stars Kate Mara as the title character. And Megan Leavey was a girl who's she's kind of looking for a purpose and a way out of town and a way to, she has no connection to this town or her family. Her mom, played by Edie Falco, they do nothing but fight. There's no connection between them. And she ends up joining the Marines. And it doesn't really fix her problems. She just kind of struggles in the Marine Corps. And she ends up in this Marine working dog unit cleaning the cages as punishment when she kind of somehow stumbles into working with this dog named Rex. Rex is a particularly aggressive canine that no one can really quite work with. He's supposed to be out there detecting explosives, but turns on his handlers. And Megan kind of is forced into dealing with Rex and ultimately forming a trusting bond with him. And they're kind of an unlikely duo. Nobody really thinks she's much of anything as a Marine. They don't think Rex is much of anything as a canine bomb sniffer. Ultimately, they're deployed to Iraq, though, and you see here in the trailer, they get blown up together. Rex saves her life at one point, and at one point, they both get blown up by an IED and continue to fight on. Despite being blown up, get up, continue the fight. There's a really intense battle scene in here as they're being taken on by the Taliban or by the Iraqis or somebody. And, I mean, all of this is really interesting. And everything that she went through in country, in Iraq. You see Common there. Common was her kennel master, played Gunny Martin. He was a lot of fun in this movie as the guy who was kind of really tasked with straightening her away, squaring her away as a Marine. She decides to separate from the Marine Corps, but she realizes that the one true bond, the one true friendship, the one true family member that she has in her life is Rex. And she misses him terribly and goes through this process of trying to adopt him because he was injured. They say he's unsalvageable, but they won't let her adopt him because he's a soldier, not a pet. And he's, if he goes out and bites a kid's hand off because he's holding a toy gun, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And it is this really grief-stricken period for her as she realizes, like, this was the only person I've ever made a connection with, which says a lot about her.
Yeah.
But it is the one person I have a connection with, and it is kind of her fight to try and get his classification changed so that she can bring him home. It's really interesting. It was actually not the movie I was fully expecting. Bradley Whitford is in it as her dad, and he has a kind of a small but really powerful role in this movie. He has one scene in particular that was really good, kind of got my allergies working up. And Kate Mara was good. I mean, I think she is a good actress if she's given the right things to work with. Mm-hmm. She just seems to choose any role.
That's what I usually see.
Yeah, she's not real choosy.
Yeah.
But I've been impressed with her in a couple of movies. And it's just the main emphasis of the movie is that these dogs are heroes too. You see in the trailer there, you see them walking out and getting a hero's welcome. They're not just dogs. They're out there saving lives. And Rex, the real Rex, saved hundreds of lives, detecting bombs, saving soldiers. It was really interesting. It was actually really interesting. It was not just I kind of thought it was just going to be her and her dog and kind of sappy, sweet, and it was intense. Now there was a romance angle thrown into this movie with her and another soldier that felt forced.
Good.
Yeah, we're not going there. Felt forced and just kind of out of place. It kind of jumped in out of nowhere. It's like, okay, I guess we have to have a romance angle now. But the movie itself was pretty decent, and I ended up giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Wow, that's a different change for most of the dog movies that come out. Really,
yeah, better than Max or any of those. Yeah, it's a good flick. So check that out. What do you have for us, sir?
Oh, this is the big one on the marquee. Tom Cruise is back doing The Mummy. This is the first of the Dark
Universe. Ooh, what a name.
Universal wants to bring back all their horror movies, and this is the first one. They're going to do The Mummy. Tom Cruise plays Nick Morton, and his friend, played by Jake Johnson, Chris Vail. They're military. They're out on recon. Tom Cruise is in charge of this 2-man operation, but instead of doing his job, he is stealing ancient artifacts for the highest bidder. He believes that there is an ancient artifact that is worth a lot of money in this town that is overran by either insurgents or Iraqi soldiers or something of that nature. And Tom Cruise decides him and his friend, even his reluctant friend who didn't want to go in there, they're going to rush in, get what they need, and then get out of there.
Hope the boulder doesn't catch him on the way out.
Hope everything is fine, and everything goes wrong, and he has like $1 million airstrike on this town, which right after that, I pretty much don't like him. Anyhow, because of all this and the missile hitting the ground, they find the tomb to this mummy, and like in all mummies, someone has to get cursed.
Curse of the Mummy.
Tom Cruise is cursed, and he has to do what he can to stop the evil mummy. What is that?
Amunet, yeah.
Amunet, played by Sophia
Boutella. We liked her in The Kingsman.
Oh, loved her in The Kingsman.
She had blades for legs.
She's actually a really great action hero.
Especially for one who doesn't really talk a whole lot.
No, she doesn't, but her moves are awesome. And really, the look of this film is the only thing going for it. I'll keep on going, but really there is no plot besides Tom Cruise running, which he does in every single one of his movies, and doing his own stunts. And otherwise, the trailers you're watching, really exciting looking. Overall, it was quite a disappointment. We have Russell Crowe in here as kind of the guy who introduces all the future monsters.
Yeah, it's no spoiler. Everyone knows he's Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah, and what is sad about that is that's exactly what I think failed about Amazing Spider-Man. When they're like, okay, this is how we're going to introduce our villains. Ta-da! They're all in one room.
I love he has the big line of, welcome to the new age of monsters.
Yeah.
You know somebody said that in a board meeting, and you're like, yes, put that in the movie.
Very quickly, because there's not much I really liked about this film, but I am going to say what I did like.
Tell me.
I think the artistic view of the whole movie, the cinematography, I think the shots and the angles and the sets were all done really well. That's it.
But everything that was contained within them was hot garbage.
The storyline, there's not one point did I want Tom Cruise's character to live. And
I didn't care about anyone in this movie.
Well, no, but this Nick Morton guy, he is a terrible character, and I know what they wanted to do with him was try to make him the new Han Solo. He's a scoundrel, but he's funny, and Tom Cruise is not funny. In all his movies, well, at least recently, he is not a funny character, and he tries to do comedy, but that's not his shtick. And they tried to make him charming and funny in this, but he just comes off as a complete jerk.
Yeah, he does.
And one of my major disappointments is I really wanted him to fail at any part of this movie, but I knew that it's a Tom Cruise movie, and he's going to live through the whole thing. So,
and it's weird because like so when Amunet comes to power, she's got these great powers where she's rising up like these old knights.
Yeah.
And she's bringing anyone who's ever been dead back to life, and then that's kind of forgotten then for the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
Like you've got these unimaginable powers, and it's like, I'm not going to really use those.
Yeah.
I'm just going to come after you. You have swimming zombies. I haven't seen swimming zombies like that in a movie before. I mean, they're just breaststroking it through the water.
And I'd like to say, just like in Pirates of the Caribbean, that this stuff is fun, but it's not fun. I didn't like any of the characters. There was no chemistry, even between like the two comedians. Well, Tom Cruise not
Here's the
being
thing, though, is
comedian.
Jake Johnson shows up throughout the movie as comedic relief, but it never quite works because it's always at weird moments where he just shows up kind of like Harvey, and just kind of like, hey, buddy, here's what we're doing now. Like, what are you doing here now?
Yeah, and I thought, wow, this is a great idea in other movies.
Yeah.
In this movie,
Wrong
it
movie
felt
for
like
that. Wrong movie.
Yeah, you just lifted that up from
My
American Werewolf.
big
or
beef
something
with
like
this
that.
movie, too, is Annabelle Wallace is in this as Jenny. She is the archaeologist. She is the expert.
Yeah.
She's a very smart girl. She is the one who is there, who is giving you the exposition at the beginning about Amunet and about these tombs and all this. And she's there for research. And then the entire movie, she is simply the girl. All she basically had to do was run after Tom Cruise and go, Nick, look, Nick over there. I mean, I was keeping a tally mark of how many times she said Nick, Tom Cruise's character, and I ran out of paper because that's all. I was imagining the script when she gets it, and it's just her lines are highlighted, and it's just Nick. Okay, so I say Nick again, and Nick, and then is this all I'm doing? Running after him, damsel in distress. I'm the smart one out of the crew here. Why am I the damsel in distress?
Well, just because she is the smart character doesn't mean this is a smart movie.
No,
there
exactly.
is flaw after flaw of just dumb stuff. Like, let's say you died and you were part of the military, and you came back to life. Do you think you're going to go to a bar that night? No,
Absolutely.
No, they're not going
me.
to let you ever go. You are a prisoner.
I mean, there's at one point this turns into a thriller video with basically with the zombies rising up.
Yeah.
It's silly, and it
Not
just
good
didn't
silly.
work. It's interesting to me with Tom Cruise and Russell Crowe. You think this is something. You have some talent there. And I mean, and Universal is going all in with this stupid dark universe. I mean, we have Bride of Frankenstein is coming out in 2019.
Yeah.
We already have Javier Bardem cast as the Frankenstein's monster. Of course, they're trying desperately to get Angelina Jolie in as the Bride of Frankenstein. You also have The Invisible Man coming out the year after that with Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. They're putting big stars in these movies, but they're not writing them. And I mean, they still aren't quite sure what they're going to do with Dracula Untold. If this is going to be rolled into this universe with that Dracula, or if they're going to reboot that Dracula. It feels like such a mess.
Well, that Dracula was absolutely horrible.
It was, but they still haven't decided, like, maybe we roll that Vlad in here. Maybe Luke Evans is our Vlad. It feels like they don't know what they're doing, and they're just desperately trying to get people on board. Like, if we build shared universes, people love them. Like, no, we love good ones, well-written ones.
Exactly.
And not just jammed together.
And I don't think something like a Wonder Woman will help them out of this ditch, because they kind of painted themselves in a corner with already introducing the majority of the monsters with, just hints. You know it's going to be part of the Dark Universe, so they're going to be coming out, but you know where they're going to originate from. And really, when Universal did these mashups way back when, the mashups weren't as good as the originals, but the originals were great and still remain to be great because they were good storytelling and had great acting. And they were almost 100 years old, so come on.
Exactly. What did you ultimately end up giving the movie?
It's a 1.5 movie. It's a stinker. It really is bad. Don't see it.
I differ from you. I actually gave it 4.5. No, I gave it 1.5 stars as well. It's a total skip for me. It's not even fun.
No,
if it's bad and fun, I'm in. This was not any of those things, so skip it.
I think it would make a good trailer. If they just made a bunch of trailers instead of a release, just never release it, just make trailers.
Absolutely. The next movie we have on the marquee is a movie from writer-director Trey Edward Schultz. It is called It Comes at Night, starring Joel Edgerton. He's your main guy. He is a man named Paul. He and his family, his wife and his son Travis, we are kind of dropped into this family with no real understanding of what's going on. We know that there is a virus that is killing people, at least killed one family member to open this movie, and that Paul is really fiercely protective of his family and very safety conscious that, I mean, they are basically have boarded themselves up into this cabin in the middle of nowhere and don't really leave. They are terrified of what's out there, what's causing this virus, and it's kind of his job to protect the family. At one point, a stranger breaks in. He and Paul have an interesting meeting, an interesting conversation, and ultimately they strike this kind of uneasy accord where he's going to let this man named Will, played by Christopher Abbott, and his wife and young son to stay with them. We're going to work together. It's kind of an uneasy deal, but we can all stay together. And the movie, we're kind of getting all this information, watching it through Travis's eyes, the son. This is where we're gleaning a lot of our information. Unfortunately, Travis suffers from some pretty severe nightmares.
Yes, he does.
Some pretty debilitating nightmares. And it's basically a lot of slow building what is out there. One of the things I really love about this movie is that you don't know what's happening. You know as much as the character knows. Mm-hmm. You don't know the scope of this virus. You don't know what's causing it, how widespread it is. You know about the extent from their house to the end of the woods that they're in, and not much else. And so you're kind of parsed out little pieces of information throughout this movie, and you spend a lot of the movie trying to figure out what's happening. There's no... I like that they didn't go for cheap scares in this movie. Yeah. There's no jump scares.
Well, that's not really A24 style.
It's not, but it is what you would normally expect from this. Yeah. Because it is a slow, quiet type of thriller movie. Mm-hmm. There's no jump scares. It's built on a score that is really drum-based, building this beat, and just this intensity and not knowing what's going on. Mm-hmm. The other thing I really loved, that I really appreciated, is a lot of this movie takes place, people holding lanterns, people using flashlights. You're in the dark a lot. You're inside a boarded up house. Never once do they go for that cheap thing where, the flashlights it's not working. What's going on? That's a standard in these movies.
It was all about suspense, and that is one of the things I did really like about this movie is the use of light and the house itself. There's a lot of weird angles and creative ways that they built this house where it felt claustrophobic at times, but then you use some light and you'd have all this dark space with just a little bit of light in the middle, and you could see things going on in the light, but it's not scary. It's just suspenseful. It keeps on building, and it was beautifully shot. It really was.
It really was. One of the things I love Joel Edgerton, and this is kind of playing to his strength, because I think his strength is being the everyman, being the honorable guy who is just the every guy who is just going to deal the best he can with the situation that's handed to him, and just try and do the best for the people he's in charge of. And so he's kind of perfect for this role for me. I mean, just that's kind of what he is in most movies.
Actually, I enjoyed all the acting. Calvin Harrison Jr., I thought he was pretty much one-sided.
He was Travis.
Yeah, Travis.
And he wasn't really asked to do a lot. It was a lot of him just kind of lurking, peeking in, listening to people.
Yeah.
But he's kind of the eyes of the audience for a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have a lot going on other than his crazy nightmares.
Yeah. And out of all the characters, I think, unfortunately, he was the weakest. I do like how you never find out about the virus and stuff, but I did not appreciate, they had lots of questions that they keep on bringing up, but they didn't answer any.
Oh, I love that. That's the one thing I love. When the movie ended, and the movie does not end like you would expect.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves you going, what? Wait. And at first I was like, wait a minute. I felt like I got cheated a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, and the day after, I'm still chewing over it, and I really like that. I like that it's kind of messy, and that they don't tie things up in a bow for you, and that they let you use your imagination. And I have a theory which will ruin the end of the movie, so I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell Mike after the show. But I have a theory about why things happen that they do, and there's nobody telling me it's right or wrong. I really like that. That's very Hitchcockian for me. Yeah. Of like, what do you think? Your imagination's probably worse than what I can show you. You want to see a boogeyman, or do you want to imagine a boogeyman?
Yeah, and that I could appreciate, but it wasn't just where the virus was or how it ended. It was also little things like, okay, here's a question about this. Where did these guys come from? And then they never revisit it.
But I kind of like that because they're not going back there to find out answers. They don't give you the cheap answers because you really are just with this family. You're not seeing anything that the characters aren't seeing. The filmmaker's not showing you like, well, here's this. But the characters wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that you know just as much as this family knows.
But with the character of Paul, who is Joel Edgerton, he is extremely careful. Very, he works out every little piece and cog. There's certain situations that he would just like, I wonder where they came from, and then he would just kind of forget about it. And his character was never a person that I felt like would leave a question open like that for his family. And it wasn't just in one search. I don't really want to talk about it because I don't want to ruin any of the film. But I felt like this happened a little bit too often with his character, and I thought that was counter to what he was playing.
I thought he was pretty great.
Oh, he was fantastic. I think it just came down to there are certain writing parts that I thought needed to be either filled in a little bit to flush out the character.
See, I think the writing is the strength of this movie. The more I've chewed over this movie, the more it's like, yeah, I really dig this. My only issue with this movie really is, and I kind of thought you'd bring this up already, is there's a bit in the final act where we bring out the good old shaky cam, and it was a little nauseating for me. And I was like, we don't need this at this moment.
For the most part, the whole movie was shot perfectly.
Yeah.
Which
made it noticeable when they brought the shaky cam out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really didn't mind. With me, it's the story. And I guess with the questions, it depends on who watches it. If you are filling in the blanks to the max potential of your imagination, it could be a fantastic movie. If you are watching this movie passively, you may not feel that way.
I know in my screening, when the movie ended, there was one gentleman up towards the back of the audience that just yelled out, as soon as the screen went black, just yelled out, "What?" Which broke a lot of tension at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
Got a big laugh. Ultimately, what did you end up giving It Comes at Night?
I give it 3. It was better than an average movie. I wanted a little bit more. I'm great with questions. I didn't want that many questions. And I wanted the questions to be answered a little bit just to flush out the characters that I was watching too. But
I give it 4 out of 5 stars. This really is my kind of horror thriller movie. I like that they avoided a lot of the traps that I was expecting them to fall into. I mean, it's A24. They can do no wrong with me.
I really wouldn't have classified it as horror at all.
No, but it's listed as horror, but it is full suspense, and this is kind of like this is my kind of suspense movie. I like the slow build. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I like walking out with a ton of questions.
Yeah.
I kind of like that a lot. So yeah, give it a 4.
Well,
either way, we say it's worth a watch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's worth a gander.
If it's this or The Mummy,
don't see The Mummy.
Don't do it.
Guys.
Just go see It Comes at Night. Yeah. Absolutely.
Don't see I Frankenstein. Don't see Dracula Untold.
Mike is saying don't see I Frankenstein. He's changed course.
Long-running Facebook joke.
Changed course. No longer his favorite movie. Let's take this time to take a look back, sir, about another movie that maybe has an ancient curse and some unexpected bad things happening to a family.
Yeah.
Maybe a kid.
Maybe a small child.
Maybe. Let's go back to 1973 to a movie that you have right here. What are we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about Linda Blair and The Exorcist. This was groundbreaking at the time for its special effects. Linda Blair is possessed. They find that by an accident that happened near the piano one night when her parents were hosting a party. Instead of getting a newspaper out, they get the priest, and the priest comes over to exorcise the demon out of her. The whole movie pretty much takes place with the dialogue of the priest, with Linda Blair's acting as a possessed demon. There's a lot of great quotes, a lot of
this movie's terrifying.
Terrifying scenes. I think over the time, like if you showed this to a young person, they probably would not be as terrified. Probably a little bit on the bored side.
And it's been parodied to death as well.
But when you take a look back at what this was doing back in '73. This was fantastic film for that time. It really was. And it spun off quite a few sequels. I am one of the few people who actually love The Exorcist 3.
Yeah.
I am rare.
You are one of the
very
few.
rare.
I'll agree with you.
But definitely, if you have not seen this, you will watch this and you will know all these scenes because it's been parodied.
This is the
so
cream of the
much.
crop of exorcism movies.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the granddaddy. That's just that shot of him standing under the streetlight. That's your poster.
Yep.
That scene is just creepy. The music in this is creepy. Regan as a young girl. I mean, just seeing a young girl possessed like this. And yeah now it's kind of cheesy. You see the head spin around. You see the pea soup come out. But it's terrifying. And back then, I remember being a kid and hearing about this movie. And this movie had been out for a while at this point. But it still was kind of one of those urban legends as a kid. Like, you heard about The Exorcist? I heard people died when they were watching it. People died in like they had to have doctors on site in the theaters. Like, ooh, I got to watch it. And I was terrified of this movie. This is one of my 5 favorite horror movies ever. I love Max von Sydow, and I love Jason Miller as Father Karras. His interaction with Regan, I mean, that's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I love the special effects. I loved a lot of the lines that I cannot replay.
I can't repeat. I have one in my head. I can't say it.
No, I can't either. It's something
about her mom.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it. Great movie, though.
Can't
The Exorcist is tremendous. You have to go watch it.
Definitely see it.
Yeah, bring the kids. Why not?
What? No kids. Don't bring your kids.
All right. Let's take a quick look ahead as what is going to be coming soon. The weekend of June 21st, we have a couple of movies coming out. The first one is going to be Mike's #1 movie of the year when we come back in January. It is Transformers: The Last Night. Optimus Prime is turning on us.
People stop spending money on these things and they'll stop making them.
For my world to live, yours must die. Oh, take my money. This movie looks terrible.
I don't.
The other movie.
Like a single one yet.
No. The second movie coming out of the Marquee that week will be The Bad Batch, starring Jason Momoa, Keanu Reeves, Jim Carrey. It's about cannibals in a Texas wasteland.
That sounds good.
It does, doesn't it?
I like it.
Yeah.
I already like it.
I'm on board for that. Looking forward to that. So those will be the 2 movies coming out June 21st. Before we leave you, of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters. You guys rock. We love Marcus Theaters. I've been spending a lot of time in my Dream Lounger, enjoying life.
How many hours do you suppose we have already been in the Palace?
Probably
as much as many of the employees are.
It's my understanding there'd be no math, but quite a bit. I'm there a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we're there. We run into each other a lot, which is a lot of fun.
You think about it. We have like hundreds of hours of this show.
Yes.
But we spend 2 hours.
Roughly,
Wow.
So we probably put 6 hours per show. Every show we've done is probably 6 hours of sitting in the seats.
Yep.
Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy awesome.
It adds up quick. Hundreds and thousands of hours, bajillions of hours in the Dream Loungers at Marcus Theaters. Thank you so much for sponsoring us.
It doesn't even feel like that. They're so comfortable.
Yeah. No, my butt's never been numb. If you want to find more from us, we encourage you to go find us on Facebook. Go find us on Twitter at Real Reviews TV. We'll get you there. You can listen to us on 103.5 The Sun locally, or you can
click the link.
That's where I was going. Just rolled into something totally different. You can find a ton of past episodes if you go to ksun.tv. There's 165 previous episodes, or you can go to our YouTube channel. Real Reviews KSUN. Go watch some previous episodes. See what we thought about some of these movies that are in your red box right now. Go, should I watch it? Let's see what Jameson and Mike think. And then I'll do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
That's what most people do. Next week, though, we are going to be talking about, we got Cars 3.
Yeah.
We got Rough Night.
Yeah.
We got All Eyes on Me.
Yep.
And we got 47 Meters Down. That's a
I
shark.
keep forgetting how many meters it is.
I keep forgetting if it's meters or yards. I don't know if it's English or metric. I don't know what's going on, but I'm looking forward to it because I love some shark movies.
Shark movies are great.
Absolutely. So that's what we'll be talking about next week on The Marquee. But until that time, my name is Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.